What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another reaction video. Today we're checking out why is Australia so rich. This is from the Geography Bible. I never really thought Australia was so rich, so today we're going to be learning a lot about it. I knew Australia was a very nice country, very beautiful country. There is of course rich people, but I didn't know it was so rich enough to actually make a separate video on it, explaining why it's so rich. But we're going to get into it. Before we start, if you guys could like this video and subscribe to my channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Hope you guys enjoy.
0.32%.
I'm screen recording on my iPad so I can pause it.
Planet that lives in Australia. At around 26 million inhabitants, it is the 53rd most populated country in the world. A gigantic country that itself is a continent located down under. It is rather secluded and thousands of kilometers away from any other major civilization. Yet it has the 13th largest economy on the planet, and Australians find themselves as being the 20th richest on Earth in terms of GDP per capita. So just how is Australia so wealthy? I'm your host Sam, and you're watching.
I don't know, I'm just looking feeling this video. Like, if they're ranked 20th,
let's take some in-depth.
why are you making a whole video? They're not that rich to make a whole video on them.
Statistics. As mentioned earlier, they have the 13th largest economy on the planet, with a GDP of around 1.6 trillion US dollars. Putting them.
If they were top 5, I'd understand making a whole video on this, but top 13 and top 20? Listen, I'd love to visit Australia. It's just far away. It's like 16 hours or 16 to 20 hour flight. That's too much for me. Either way, let's get back to this video.
Above Spain and just below Brazil, a country with over 8 times the population and surrounded by many other countries. Australia's GDP per capita for purchasing power is just shy of 55,000 US dollars, which works out to roughly 77,000 Aussie dollars, placing them above the likes of Canada, the UK and France, but just below Germany, Sweden and Austria. And finally, Australia ranks as having the 8th highest average salary in the world. So some very impressive stats for a country where 90% of people live in just 3% of its land. So first things first.
Perfect example
Australia
of big doesn't mean it's highly populated. I guess that's what they say.
There is such an abundance of minerals that it
Russia,
not only
for example,
meets its internal needs, but it also covers the needs of many other countries around the world, meaning it can export these precious commodities in exchange for dollars. In 2020, Australia was the largest producer of lithium. You might have heard of this compound. It is used in batteries, and in case you haven't noticed, batteries are extremely important in today's digital age, especially with the gigantic boom in electric cars.
Seeing less need for actual the batteries they put in remotes and all,
in China,
but of course more for
41%
these smart
of all
cars,
electric vehicles
electric
were
cars.
purchased in 2020. Australia is also the largest aluminium and opal producer in the world and the 3rd largest producer of diamonds. Another export that helps to propel Australia to the top of the rich list is food, and its food industry is almost entirely based on local produce. As Australia is not short of space, it has vast areas of the country occupied by cereal crops. Because Australia is just so darn big, it has many different climates and can grow different fruits and vegetables that are typically found in different climate zones around the world. In the north, you have rainforest conditions, in the center you have desert, and then far down into Tasmania,
they have everything.
You have temperate climates which are more like that of the UK's. Also, Australia is one of the countries with the largest herds of livestock around the world. The number of sheep in the country is the 2nd largest in the world, only behind China. And for beef exports,
I thought countries in Europe would be.
Australia's total export value is just shy of 500 billion US dollars, with China, Japan and South Korea, 3 other major economies, being their biggest trading partners. Australia ranks as being the 8th highest country on the Human Development Index. The index considers the health, education and income in a given country to provide a measure of human development, which is comparable between countries and over time. Scoring high in this index usually means that the country is in a great place in terms of finance, society, education and quality of life.
The shark, man.
It doesn't mean that it's perfect.
You'll never see me out that deep.
When a country excels in all of these sectors, it usually translates to a strong and healthy economy. A country with poor education, working standards, civil war and unrest will be very unlikely to have a booming economy with wealthy citizens. For example, the DR Congo is one of the most naturally rich countries on Earth, has a population of around 90 million and a super young populace of around 17 years on average, yet it is one of the most corrupt and poor nations on Earth, with an economy of just $50 billion. Australia's relative peace has also helped maintain its strong economy and position. Over the last century, Europe has been annihilated flat twice, South America and Africa wrecked by civil wars and coups, and Asia all of the above. Australia and North America as well have been pretty much untouched, and so are wealthy. This isn't to say that Australia hasn't invested and been involved with wars, but there has certainly been no air raid blitzes over the Sydney Opera House.
Yeah, I feel like people just leave Australia and New Zealand alone.
That plays an important role to its wealth. Unlike other countries that
probably during World War II though, Japan. I think Japan wanted to try to get involved with Australia.
Diversity and to attract younger workers to help stimulate their economy due to an aging population, Australia concentrates on bringing in highly skilled and needed workers as opposed to just anyone. For example, if Australia starts to find that they have a shortage of doctors, engineers and teachers, they will slacken their immigration rules to allow more of these highly skilled workers to enter. Australia's education system is one of the best in the world. It is modern and highly regarded. Therefore, many international students who of course have wealthy families may apply to live and study in Australia. These then already wealthy students may go on to secure high-paying jobs and further boost the Australian economy. Pre-pandemic, Australia was a dream destination. Travellers from all across the globe, including myself, would flock to the land down under to see its many incredible attractions and soak in its gorgeous sunshine. Cosmopolitan
you don't see that on the east coast of America.
Parks, architectural
usually
landmarks,
brown and cloudy.
beaches, and amazing weather. It's no surprise that in 2019, Australia's income from tourism was around $42 billion,
Jeez.
about 3.2% of its GDP, the seventh highest in the world. From the Sydney Opera House to Ayers Rock to the Great Barrier Reef, Australia has some of the world's most fascinating landmarks and
just
attractions.
the animals. The heat too. I mean, I hate the heat.
For bringing in
anything over 75 degrees, too much for me.
Due to massive demand of new buildings and homes, but not so great for the everyday Australian trying to buy a house. Very similar to what I see in London. The mega rich from all across the planet buy properties in cities and countries that are well developed and wealthy, as there is only a finite amount of space in cities like Sydney, Melbourne and Perth, which are all extremely desirable. The cost of housing continues to go up, and more are being built. In the year 2000, the average house in Sydney would set you back around $312,000 Aussie.
In America,
today,
I mean, it's insane.
Million. The average Sheila simply cannot afford this insane amount.
I mean, it's getting like that in America.
Living in China
it already
or Japan
is.
Can buy several houses
it's just
and
cheaper
rent them
to,
out for profit. Just
I mean,
recently,
rent
Australia ranked
for an
as
apartment's
the second most agile
either.
country in the world, only behind the US. For a country to be agile, it must adapt and respond to whatever obstacles it faces. To do this, a country needs to be efficient in its actions, adopt and accept modern solutions, and progress to meet changing circumstances. And last but not least, it is important to say a few words about the successful Anglo-Saxon economic model. This is a kind of capitalism that is characterized by some important specifics, especially when it comes to taxes. The Anglo-Saxon model usually means less government interference and less regulations. The private sector dominates and the private property enjoys a central role. Although absolutely
when I think of that, I think of laissez-faire.
This model has proven to be extremely successful in countries from around the world, such as New Zealand, the UK, the Republic of Ireland, the United States, Canada, and many more. So overall, Australia is a well-developed country that has one of the strongest immigration policies in the world, is a tourist hotspot outside of pandemics, has a booming export and skilled workforce with a vast amount of natural resources, which allows it to be one of the richest countries in the world with a very high quality of life. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you learned
Skin cancer I
something,
saw is
feel
pretty
free
high
to
though.
drop it a like. And if you
In
love this
Australia.
sort of content,
That's just
consider
what I remember
subscribing.
hearing.
You can always unsubscribe.
Well, everybody, that was a very interesting video. I enjoy reacting to these non-sport videos. I'm going to do a lot more. Like I said, definitely cool learning about Australia. I knew it was very nice, very beautiful. Has, I mean, just of course, crazy animals. It's, I mean, it's just far away from where I live. I live on the east coast of the United States, so it's like a 20-hour, something like that, flight. And yeah, it's far. It's far, too far for me. But you know, maybe one day I like to visit. I know Australia, of course, rugby. I know I throw Australian football, which I reacted to a couple of those videos. Make sure to check that out if you're interested in the AFL. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Recommend more videos down below. Hope you guys, you know, consider subscribing and liking the video. I'm out, guys. Peace.